Hi, hello, and welcome to the complete practical guide to blockchain application development. If you are going to ask me which is the information technology domain that is going to dominate the future, I would surely say that it's blockchain-based decentralized applications and smart contracts. Put simply, blockchain is a distributed ledger. It puts the copies of ledger in every computer that is part of the blockchain network, and the interesting fact is that tampering or changing of the added block inside a blockchain is very much difficult or it's impossible. Governments and financial institutions already invested millions of dollars into blockchain development and implementation. Also, blockchain-based smart contracts are replacing the old conventional paper deeds and promissory notes. Smart contract is an electronic contract which can execute itself once the conditions for the contract has been fulfilled. Since it's also based on blockchain, it also cannot be tampered. It also cannot be manipulated, or it also cannot be hacked. If you are a technology enthusiast or a programmer or a software architect who wish to integrate blockchain into your applications, this is a perfect time to learn about blockchain because the world is in a race to move towards blockchain. There are tons of books and materials out there which explains the nuts and bolts of blockchain and the concept of blockchain, but only a very few of them actually deal with how to implement blockchain practically in your program or in your project. And in this course, I have taken extreme care in maintaining the 30-70 balance between the theory as well as the practical respectively. And here is the overview of the list of topics that I have included in this course. And before we proceed with intense practical sessions, we will start with the theory part. In session 1, we will discuss about the history of blockchain, the concept of blockchain, and also the structure of a single block inside the blockchain. And that single block will be the building block of the chain of blocks inside the blockchain. In session 2, we will discuss how these individual blocks are linked together to form the blockchain and the security measures that are introduced inside blockchain, which makes the most security thing nowadays in information technology. In session 3, we will have discussion about the type of networks available, and we will also discuss about the concept of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which is built using the blockchain technology. And in session 4, we will have an overview of smart contracts. What is smart contract and the concept of smart contract. Also, we will discuss about the current and the future implementation of blockchain in various business domains and applications. And once we are ready with the concepts and we have a clear overview of the working of blockchain, we are now ready to go into the practical sessions. The first workshop will include a simple conceptual yet working model of blockchain implemented in JavaScript and JavaScript library called Node.js. And don't worry if you have only basic programming knowledge or very little knowledge about JavaScript. I will explain very clearly and very thoroughly so that you can understand the concepts very easily. And in session 5, since we have to start with our development of blockchain using JavaScript, we will prepare our computer to start development of our first workshop. In session 6, we will start creating our JavaScript blockchain application, and we will start with the basic class for building a block in the blockchain. And in session 7, we will create a block, the first block of our blockchain called the Genesis block. And in session 8 and 9, we will give the functionality to our blockchain to add new blocks into the chain. And after implementing all these things, we now need to implement security for our JavaScript blockchain. And in session 10, we will implement hash verification, which is the basic security of a blockchain. And in session 12, we will have another security measure called the proof of work concept. Proof of work is the thing which makes the mining of new blocks or validating of new blocks in a blockchain very much a big cumbersome task. And the people who are dedicated to mine new blocks are called miners. In session 12, we will discuss about how we can implement mining reward to these miners inside our small JavaScript blockchain program. And that's all with our simple JavaScript conceptual blockchain. We are now ready to get our hands dirty with some serious application using Ethereum, which is the most popular public blockchain platform available right now. We will create Ethereum based blockchain, and we will create smart contract based on Ethereum, and we will deploy the smart contract inside our locally hosted blockchain network. So in order to proceed, in session 13 we will be installing the dependencies that we require to have our Ethereum blockchain based smart contract executed in the system. We have already installed Node.js in the previous program. Node.js is actually a dependency, and the next dependency will be Ganache, which will be hosting our local blockchain network. Then we will install MetaMask browser extension, which will allow us to interact with the locally hosted blockchain network and our application front end. Then we will be installing Truffle framework and Solidity. Solidity is actually the language that we use to program the blockchain smart contract. Truffle framework actually gives the framework for our coding. And we will also include Sublime Text Editor, which is the editor that we are used to create our blockchain and smart contract. And in session 14, after installation of all these dependencies, we will configure everything and make sure that everything is working. We will execute some few lines of code and make sure that everything is linked fine and executing fine. This project is actually a web application for a simple contest of finding the best actor among our contestants. We have our contestants Tom and Jerry, and people will be voting for these contestants, and let's find out who wins the contest at last by counting the votes by the members of this blockchain. And in the next session we will create class for holding the data of every contestant in the blockchain, and then we will include Tom and Jerry as the contestants. And in session 16 we will fetch the list of existing contestants, and we will use Web3.js, which is actually the library we use to interact with the blockchain. As I said before, blockchains cannot be tampered or altered once it's created. So blockchain based smart contracts also cannot be tampered once it's created, cannot be altered or changed. In order to make any change, you have to remove the existing smart contract from the network and create a new one, deploy a new one instead of the existing smart contract. So that is a very time consuming task, that is a very inconvenient process. So make sure that you are testing your smart contract as much as possible before you deploy it into a blockchain network. So we will be using Truffle framework's testing environment, which will emulate the testing of the conditions that we use inside the blockchain smart contract. And in session 18 and 19, we will be creating a front end for our blockchain application. Actually, for our blockchain smart contract, we had only command line interface where we'll be typing the commands and executing the commands. But for the users, we cannot produce them the command line interface because it's not a user-friendly approach. So we will build a web interface, a front-end interface, using which the customers, our users, can interact with the blockchain that is running in our Ethereum network. So it will be a simple but beautiful web interface, and this will allow the users to use our best actor contest application used as a website in their web browsers. We will host a small server called Light Server in order to have our web application running. We will discuss about that, and we will configure it and we'll make it running in our sessions 18 and 19. Until now our application have only the listing functionality. Now we have to add the functionality to cast vote for our contestants in our best actor contest. So in session 20 we will be implementing the voting functionality for our contest using only the command line interface as of now. We will be allowing network users to use this application as a part of the blockchain. So we have to do continuous and rigorous testing of our smart contract then and there when we implement new features. So we will be using the Truffle framework testing platform in order to test our blockchain application. And in session 22, we will be implementing validation and rule for our best actor contest. That is, a user should not be allowed to vote more than once, and also a user should not vote for an invalid contestant. So we should take care of these two rules, and we will be implementing these two rules in our session 22. And the voting mechanism was happening from the command line interface, which is not at all user friendly. So we will be adding the voting functionality to the web interface we have already created, so that the users can go to the site and cast vote for the contestant they like. And the web interface will also have the rules that we implemented for the smart contract. In the final session, to make our front end more interactive, we will add an event watcher or an event listener, which will listen for an event of casting and vote, and once a vote is casted, it will automatically refresh the page so that the current status of the number of votes can be displayed immediately to the user. We will also be implementing the mechanism to hide the voting feature for users who already cast their vote. So this application will be a small but perfect application for demonstrating almost all the features of a blockchain and also a smart contract. And I'm sure that throughout this course you will have many ideas popping in your head how to implement the blockchain features in your application throughout this course, because we will be implementing almost all the basic features of a blockchain and smart contract in our project. And this course will surely provide you with the knowledge to have a giant leap in the race of blockchain happening around the world. After successful completion of this course, we will be providing you with a course completion certificate. You can attach it to your portfolio so that you will have a great value for your portfolio when you present before an employer. So let's jump into the future of technology using blockchain. See you soon in that classroom. Wishing you a happy learning. Thank you.